The Milner-Fabian conspiracy. How an international elite is taking over and destroying Europe, America, and the world. And what can be done to restore justice, democracy, and freedom. Ioan, Ratiu. Introduction. The Milner-Fabian conspiracy is intended as a tribute as well as a sequel to the work of two great American historians and researchers, Carroll Quigley and Rose L. Martin, who wrote The Anglo-American Establishment, written in 1949, and Fabian Freeway in 1966, respectively. Quigley's expose, together with his Tragedy and Hope, 1966, is unique among historical works in that it provides a detailed and verifiable account of the origins, development, and aims of a network of organizations created for the purpose of world domination by certain international financial interests, which Quigley terms, not without justification, the Anglo-American Establishment. What Quigley accomplished in regard to the Anglo-American Establishment or Milner Group, Martin did in regard to the Fabian Society. However, outstanding though they are, their works were written some time ago, giving rise to the need for more recent research. Moreover, although both authors briefly mention the connection between the two groups, what has been lacking is a detailed study of their interrelationship. In addition, as observed by several scholars and researchers, such as Anthony Sutton and F. William Engdahl, despite the invaluable information it provides, for various reasons, some of which can only be known to Quigley himself, his work remains incomplete and, at times, ambiguous and misleading. In some important respects, this may have to do with the fact Quigley was still undergoing a learning process, as suggested by the shift in his political views later in life. The Milner-Fabian conspiracy attempts to rectify some of the shortcomings while putting together a more up-to-date version of Quigley and Martin's accounts. The picture that emerges is at once clearer and more disturbing than that sketched by the above authors. It is the frightening picture of a world of smoke and mirrors in which nothing is what it appears to be and where anything can be, and often is, a tool whereby unseen forces condition, manipulate, and control large sections of mankind in the service of their own designs, which in the final analysis can only be described as self-serving and evil. In short, it is easier to see the tragedy in this captive world than the hope. In its attempt to complete and add definition to the picture presented by Quigley and Martin, the present work places special emphasis on the nature of socialism, a subject normally pertaining to the exclusive and heavily defended domain of pro-socialist publications, and its links to liberal capitalism, the role played by the Fabian Society in the Anglo-American Milnerite scheme, and the hidden historical background on which world-changing events such as Russia's 1917 revolution and the two world wars have taken place. Without knowledge of which, much of mainstream history would remain poorly understood and highly misleading. But no understanding of historical events would be of much practical value without reference to their impact on the populations involved. Therefore, this work traces the history of the Anglo-American establishment from inception to the present, exposing its connections with international institutions like the UN, the EU, and the Mediterranean Union, and looking into its involvement in global developments that have taken place since Quigley and Martin's account, such as mass immigration, multiculturalism, and Islamization, as well as the alarming impact they have on the affected populations. Bat Yeor's groundbreaking Eurabia provides valuable documentation on the Islamization of the Western world as a deliberate political program designed to destroy Western culture, civilization, and society. In turn, the present book shows that Islamization, along with the mass immigration and multiculturalism, is the doing of the Anglo-American establishment an essential plank in its conspiracy against humanity. While not intending to be exhaustive, the Milner-Fabian conspiracy aims to provide a sound foundation for the objective and critical study of recent history, in the belief that knowledge is power and that no matter how bleak and hopeless the current world situation appears, awareness of its nature and primary causes will lead the world's right-thinking minds to undertake a diagnosis thereof and explore options for real change. Another key belief that motivated the writing of this book is that countries and continents should be governed by the people to whom they rightfully belong. Europe, for example, belongs to its indigenous people, yet it is not governed by them. It is governed by financial institutions, political parties, religious organizations, and other national and international groups whose main interest is to promote themselves at the expense of the common people. Even elected national governments are becoming increasingly deceptive, undemocratic, and dictatorial. The situation mirrors wider developments in Europe and the world, where there is a clear establishment trend to create ever larger political entities. The Western European Economic Community, EEC, followed by the enlarged European Union, EU, followed by the further enlarged Mediterranean Union, Union for the Mediterranean, etc. While governance is being taken out of the hands of the nation-states by supranational bodies such as the EU and UN acting as regional and global government on behalf of shadowy elite groups. The anti-national character of such bodies and the elites behind them explains the catastrophic impact their policies are having on the peoples of Europe, America, and the world. Mass immigration, multiculturalism, Islamization, and the rapid disintegration of traditional Western society, culture, and way of life are just some of the main symptoms. We believe that the only antidote to this destructive trend is to initiate a nonviolent popular movement for the liberation of the Western world from anti-Western domination. In sum, the book aims to provide the necessary information on key domestic and international affairs as a basis for political debate and action with a view to combating and preventing tyranny, and oppression and genocide, and reestablishing true democracy and freedom. Thanks are due to all who assisted with this particular research for this book, to authors, publishers, and others, in particular Niall Ferguson, David Horowitz, Robert Spencer, Bat Eeyore, and Mike Parker of the Webb Memorial Trust, for their kind permission to reproduce copyrighted materials, and last but not least, to all who offered suggestions, guidance, and support. While every effort has been made to trace all the copyright holders, should any have been inadvertently overlooked, necessary arrangements will be made at the first opportunity. Ioan, Ratiu, London, July 2012.